Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Today I have a little bit of a different kind of video for you. I am going to be setting up my very first reading journal. So I have recently, over the past couple of months, gotten into reading, and I have seen several YouTubers that I follow in the community do book journals or reading journals, and I just think it's a super cool idea. I tried to start it in a different little notebook, but the notebook was too small, and so now I'm going to transfer it over to this journal that I had in my stash, I guess. It's just a watercolor journal from Archer and Olive. I did have to tear a couple pages out of it because I had done some watercolor pages in it. And so I am going to be using this. I'm not quite sure what the size of this is, but it is larger than a regular size journal. And I personally really like the size. So this video is several days. It's 2 different days, 2 different sessions of me sitting down and working in this. So you will see different clothing if you can see my shirt. And right now I'm just working on the title page, and I decided to dig deep down into my stash and pull out some Chamel Head in the Clouds from that collection. From that collection, I have the 12 by 12 paper pad. I have the sticker sheet and the journaling pages, I think is what they call them, but they're like 6 by 8 pages. So this Once Upon a Time piece was from that. And I really wanted to make the title page kind of magical. I personally like reading and listening to all different types of books. However, I really like romance. I really like the happily ever after. I also like mysteries and a little bit of drama, but romance for me is kind of like my favorite, and I'm a romantic at heart. I love it, and so it's really fun to listen to or read, and so yeah, I wanted to kind of make the title page kind of like magical. So I thought that this collection was perfect for that, and it got me digging deep into my stash and using some older products that I really honestly haven't even thought about using in quite a while. So that was also really nice. I am inking the edges of this with one of my Catherine Puller inks and my little finger dauber here. I just feel like it helps it kind of separate the layer there because it is a lighter piece of paper. And I will try to link to some of these products that I'm using, but a lot of these products are older products. Some of the stamps and stuff that I'm going to be using throughout these pages are older, so I don't know if they're still available, but if they are, I will link them in the description box always. And yeah, so there that is so far. We are going to work on like the title here. It says I live for happy endings. I used the alpha stickers from this collection, and they're not great. They're super thin. They were really hard to get on without ripping, and then they're not very sticky. So in the end, they actually end up coming up and I have to change it, but everything else stays the same. Just the I live for happy endings is going to change. So now we are moving on to a bookshelf. Okay, so in my first little attempt to do a book journal in a smaller version, I only did a couple pages in it. I used a printable bookshelf, which is a great option, and it was super easy and fun. But here I decided to try to draw my own bookshelf, and I actually really love the way that it turned out. Now, the books are not perfect. They're not all completely straight. But I drew these and it makes me happy. And so I did it in pencil first, and now I'm just going over it with a black felt tip pen. They're larger. I think these are the Tombow Mono markers or pens, and I used one of the largest nibs. And for this, I am going to be writing in the book titles that I read and listen to. And then also at the bottom, there's going to be like a little key for each book that I read. It's going to either be an audio, a physical book, or an ebook. And so for each one of those, they're going to be color coded. For the most part, I do audiobooks. I think I've only had one physical book and one ebook. And that's just because I've stated this on Instagram and on my Patreon with my patrons, but I have always had a really hard time reading ever since I was young. And so I just always thought that reading just wasn't for me. But when I found the world of audiobooks here recently, it opened up a whole new world for me, and it really has made me love it. I just love listening to books now. And I have went into the library and got a physical book and read it, even though it was a graphic novel. It's okay. And then the ebook that I read was also a graphic novel as well. And I never was into graphic novels until my friend Leilani Scraps. She talks about the books that she reads, and she had talked about some graphic novels that she has read, and I was like, maybe I should see if my library has any. And I looked through all of the graphic novels that my library had, and the only one that was like really jumped out at me and was interesting looking was Sleeping Beauties from Stephen King. And I got the part 1 of that, and I read it in like a day. And then I got the ebook of the second part of that, and I read that in like an hour. Greg was next to me sleeping in bed because he likes to sleep in on the weekends. And I had my cup of coffee and I was sitting right next to him while he slept and cuddled me. And I got to read the ebook of the part 2. And I was like, when he woke up, I was like, I just read a whole graphic novel while you were sleeping. And he was like, really? So it's been fun, and it's been interesting to kind of grow a little bit there in reading and feel a little bit more confident in reading. I'm not a fast reader. I don't retain what I read either a lot of the times, or I didn't when I was younger. And so that's what turned me off from reading. But now I'm super excited for a whole new world. So right now I'm going through some sticker books, and I'm just trying to decorate the bookshelf. So we've colored in the books that I've read so far, and we also have written the titles of the books on the little bookshelf. And now I'm just going through some stickers and ephemera and such to put on my bookshelf. This is a Doodlebug collection. I will say that I do change some of these because some of them are so small. So I end up going with some of the die cuts that are a little bit larger, but like the same icons, and putting them on the bookshelf just because I felt like everything was so tiny. Yeah. So I'm going to add like candles, a little fish bowl, a fan, lots of flowers and plants. And I just think it's stinking adorable. And then at the bottom right hand side, I have 2 stickers, one of a person in like a big chair drinking a cup of coffee or tea. And then another chair with a cat in it, and it says Comforts of Home with a little plant behind it. And then this little picture frame that says Home is Where My Heart Is. And I thought that was super cute. And I'm just going to continue to kind of like just add things to the bookshelf and make it cute, I guess. Fill it in with all kinds of little bits and bobs. And I really love the way that this turns out. I think it looks super cute. So now we are going to be moving on. I do leave another page in between just in case I need to build another bookshelf. I don't think that I'm going to need to, just because I personally really don't read that much. A lot of people read a lot more than I do. So I don't think I'm going to need that extra page, but I just kept it there just in case. And so now we are going to move on to the books read. And I've seen so many different ways that people do this. I have been watching reading journal videos on YouTube, and there really are just so many different ways that you can set up your own reading journal if you like to read. But for me, I really wanted a place where I could have all of the little, like the little books that I've read, just really small, and just like a star rating right underneath of them. I don't want to do like a specific review on every single book that I read, but I may do like a review on my favorite book that month that I read, and make it just a little bit larger and have like a whole review on that. So that is my plan for going forward. But all of these books that are right now were read during the summer. And I think the graphic novel that I read as an ebook was read last weekend. So the book that I read in bed with Greg was read last weekend. And that was the last book that I have read. And so, yeah, I definitely want to do like the favorite ones review for the month, but I don't think I'm going to start that until October, since we're already like partially through September, like halfway through September now. So I'll probably do an October page, and do that, and I'll show you guys that as well moving forward in October. So I pulled out some washi tape. I love this little daisy washi tape. I just think it's super cute. It's from Damask Love, and the rainbow one is also from that same person and the same collection. And I really like the color that it adds to the page. I also pulled in this stamp from Felicity Jane that's just this person with a cup of coffee just sitting with their legs crossed, and I thought it was super cute, and I hadn't actually ever used that stamp, and I've had it for like 2 years, and so I decided to use it. Now looking back, I wish that I would have just kept it just black and white. I end up coloring it in with some like Crayola markers, and it, to me, it's just not the best. Oh goodness, you guys will see soon. So stay tuned. So yeah, I am using this like acetate alphabet from L Studio. I really, really like these. They're super, super sturdy, and they stick really well. And I'm not scared of them like falling off. A lot of the smaller alphas I have trouble with because I feel like they're not very sticky and they're just going to come right up. But these feel very sturdy and I really like them. And they match that yellow from the daisy washi tape and the rainbow washi tape. So now I'm going to add the washi tape along the bottom as well. So we're doing kind of like a border thing here. And my phone stopped recording for just a little while, and then I realized it, and so we're back. So we have the two different washes at the bottom, and now we're going to go ahead and start putting all of our books in order. They're going to go 4 across. I give them a little bit of space in between, so I have room to stamp out the 5 stars for each book. And this way I'll be able to put quite a few books on here the size that I printed them, but also I didn't want to print them so small that you couldn't barely read them. So I think that this size is really good. I honestly don't remember what size I printed it at. Just being real. This little star stamp was from a really, really, really old Heidi Swapp stamp set from like probably 2015. It was just a little tiny star, and that's the only star stamp that I had that wasn't already filled in, like a solid star. So I was happy that I could find that. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these down, and then I'm going to grab a yellowish orange marker and fill in the stars for each one as well. Oh, I'm going to do that here in a minute. So here we are. coloring our person, drinking their cup of coffee, and y'all, I shouldn't have done it. I messed up. So I started coloring and I didn't realize that her arm was out of the sleeve, and I colored part of their arm pink, and then I got the shade that is supposed to be skin tone for a Caucasian person, and it, oh gosh, it just looks terrible. It's like, I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain it. It looks salmon. It looks like a piece of salmon, and it's very orangey, and it kind of blends in with the pink, and it just doesn't look great. It looks better on camera than it does in person. I will say that. In person, it looks pretty terrible, but it is what it is. We're just going to move forward with it, and we're going to continue to go and work on our book, our reading journal. Um, so I'll go ahead and tell you guys the books that I've read so far or listened to. We have The Arrangement, After I Do, A Deadly Inside Scoop, Stephen King's Sleeping Beauties Part 1, The Wives, A Bad Day for Sunshine, Hold Me Until Midnight, and Sleeping Beauties Part 2. Those are all of the books, so 8 books so far. Not that many. I know a lot of people read 8 books in 1 month. This started in June. I think I read 2 or 3 books in June, and then 2 or 3 in July, and then 2 in August. Well, 1 in August, 1 in September so far. So we fixed the title page here, as you guys can see. I just wrote it out in pencil. My handwriting isn't the best, and it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I didn't have any alphas that I thought was going to work here that was small enough, that would fit. And I also don't want to use any like foam thickers or chipboard, because I don't really want to add too much bulk to this since it is just a regular notebook. So now we are moving on to our page right after the title page, which is going to end up being my TBR, so to be read book. So I really like this idea. I have a whole list of books that are in, so I use, for my audiobooks, I use the app Hoopla, which is free. So if you have a library card from your local library, all you have to do is type in your library card information, and you can get like 3 books free a month, I think, to listen to, or they have ebooks as well. And then I also started using Libby, but so far I have the app for Libby, but I haven't used it yet. I've only used the Hoopla app, and they both kind of work the same way. You just have to have your library card information, and you can sign up like that, and you can get ebooks and audiobooks for free. Now, I will say I have had problems trying to find some books that I want to read on either of the apps, and so I guess I'm just gonna have to break down and maybe buy the physical book or buy the ebook of it. But yeah, so the TBR is to be read books that you want to read like in the future, and that is the page that this is. So I decided to use some actual book paper. So I went to a local used bookstore, I don't know, in the spring, I think Emily and I went, and we got lots of little books. One I turned into an art journal, and then I have a couple like this that I'm just using for like the book pages, and they were like 20, this was like 25 cents, I think. It wasn't much at all. And so I'm reusing it, I'm repurposing it. And yeah, so I'm just ripping that out and layering it up. I did some stamping here, y'all, and it just didn't stamp very well. The impression wasn't great. It looks good on camera, but in person, the first 2 times that I stamped it, it did not stamp well. And so I had to line it up and try to stamp it again. And it double stamped, but it wasn't perfectly lined up, so it didn't look good. So I end up trying, you know, to cover that up. And I think it looks good. I think it looks good now that it's done and I'm looking at it. I like the aesthetic of it. I think it's really cute. I have lots of printables printed off here that I use in my journal, my regular journal, for my journaling. Oh, and so I'm just looking through those and trying to figure out if there was any stickers that I wanted to use. I just print those off at my printer at home on sticker paper, and I don't really like the sticker paper that I have. It's not very sticky. So I actually end up putting some adhesive on them as well, just to make sure that it's going to stay stuck. Yeah. So I'm just cutting this little book out, and the one is two little books with flowers coming out of it, and it says happily ever after. And then this one says the fiction addiction, and I thought it was cute. It's a little book like opened up, and y'all can just, oh, sorry, that was my chair. Y'all can just go on Etsy and just search like book printables, book downloads, reading printables, and you can get all kinds of things, and they're really not that expensive. Most of them are just a couple dollars for a couple pages, and then you can just print them off and resize them however you want. So that's the beauty of digitals and printables. They're really fun to use. So now I'm pulling out a brand new stamp set that I've had for about a month now from Catherine Puller. I believe my friend Tracy Reed designed this stamp set. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. And look at the little mushroom. Oh my God. I love little mushrooms. They're so cute. So I am going to add a couple of the mushrooms in some different ink colors. And then I'm going to add some leaves to the page. I'm going to add some little swirlies to the page. And I'm going to be using the spiced color, the Peppermint Scrub, Eucalyptus, and Glitz. I kind of wish that I would not have used the Glitz. I think the Glitz color here, that mustardy color, was just a little too vibrant for the vibe that I was going for, but it's all done, so we're just going to keep moving forward. These little leaves I absolutely love, and I love the way they look stamped on the book paper. I think it's super cute. So at first I was just going to add them in a couple places, and then I just went crazy. Y'all, I just decided, you know what, we're just going to do this all over the place and see how it looks. So that's what I did. And I actually really love the way that it looks. I think it turned out super cute. I personally will probably just write in the books. I'm not going to do that on camera, but I'm just going to write in the books that I am excited to read or listen to. And I'll probably just do like 20 books here. I think that would be a good spot to start. And there's plenty of room for that. And so, yeah, that is my video for today. If you guys have stayed all the way through this, leave me a comment down below and say, hey, I stayed for the whole video. Y'all are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below if you all have a reading journal. Or if you enjoy reading. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to spread love and be kind. I hope that you all have an amazing day. Bye, friends.